Member for Nelson Creston.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Sheila Joseph, a single mom in Kamloops, has 3 children. Her 7-year-old receives child support from her father. But because Sheila receives income support, the little girl never sees the help her father sends to pay for school clothes, books, and healthy food. Sheila wants to know why the ministry went through all the trouble of getting child support for her daughter only to take it away from her every month. Can the Minister of Social Development explain to this little girl and her mother why he is taking away the money her father has put aside for her?
Minister for Social Development.
Madam Speaker, as members in the House know, I'm a father of 2 young children, and I recognize this is a very challenging issue, one that this ministry and myself does not take lightly. The ministry and this government, we look at income assistance as a payment of last resort. It is not designated to be a long-term solution. I've met with individuals, I've met with organizations in regards to this issue, and I thank them for their passion and advocacy for this vulnerable segment of our society. Just so members know, people who receive family maintenance payments may receive income assistance top-up if their maintenance payment does not exceed monthly income assistance amounts. We, as a ministry, continue to meet with families, with organizations, even with businesses, to evolve and improve income and disability assistance in British Columbia.
Member for Nelson Creston on a supplemental.
Yes, Madam Speaker. Well, BC has had the highest rate of child poverty for 10 years. We know that. We know that half of single mothers and their children live in poverty right now in this province. We also know that child clients of food banks has increased to 30%. Meanwhile, what this government is actually doing, the minister described it in a very nice way, but what they're actually doing, Madam Speaker, is that they're clawing back every cent of child support from single parents and their children simply because the parents are on income assistance. It's absolutely unjust, Madam Speaker. So my question is again to the Minister of Social Development. How does he justify taking money from BC's poorest kids?
Minister of Social Development.
Madam Speaker, through income assistance, through disability assistance, we support in this province about 175,000 people in British Columbia. And while we believe our income assistance program is one of the best in Canada, we all recognize there's room for improvement. But Madam Speaker, also I want to make sure that people in this room and in the general public realize there are other many programs that we do to assist families and individuals in need, and I'd like to highlight a couple of them if I may. We've increased earning exemptions for people receiving income assistance. We've also increased school startup supplements. There is a bus pass program which is recognized as one of the best in Canada. The income tax system provides single parents access to approximately $385 a month in benefits. There are supports for childcare, and starting in 2015, children under 6 and their families will have access to a $55 a month BC early childhood tax benefit. Madam Speaker, while I know those programs are supporting families and individuals across British Columbia, there's always more we can do. And that's why we continue to engage with families, with individuals, with organizations to come together with solutions and ideas to help make sure that BC is there and inclusive for all British Columbians.
Victoria Beacon Hill.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. I'd like to say to the Minister that child poverty isn't simply an issue on paper. Child poverty means that children are not getting enough healthy food, that children are not living in safe and healthy housing. And that's exactly the case for hundreds of children who don't see a dime of child support because this government claws back every penny of that support. This policy isn't just cruel, Madam Speaker, it's also short-sighted. Poverty can set children back for the rest of their lives. So my question is to the Minister, how can the Minister continue to take money that was set aside for BC's poorest children?
Minister of Social Development.
Madam Speaker, I said in my earlier answers, we can always do more. We can't always do more immediately. One of the things we do in this government, Madam Speaker, is if you look at income assistance, whether it's for persons with disabilities or families or individuals, we spend well over $1 billion a year supporting these people. We also want to make sure that there's an opportunity to continue to support them in other ways. One of the things that often people forget to recognize in regards to supporting individuals and families is that this government does not believe it's right to tax individuals who make less than $19,000 a year. We want to make sure those families in British Columbia income tax retain those dollars. We want to make sure MSP premiums are not being paid by the people who are most in need. That's why over 800,000 British Columbians, those are individuals, those are children, do not pay MSP premiums. And as well, when it comes to pharmacare, almost over 250,000 British Columbians, many of them children, do not pay premiums with their pharmacare. And that being said, Madam Speaker, I'm also proud, as the member opposite knows, I used to be Minister of Education, a job I thoroughly enjoyed. And I know that many, many schools, almost every school in British Columbia, receives not just the fruit and vegetable program support, which helps families as well. We also do, as Minister of Agriculture, we make sure there's supports with farmers markets as well. We understand that there's more we can do. We're working hard for British Columbians, Madam Speaker, and I thank the members opposite for their question.
Beacon Hill on a supplemental.
Well, thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And one piece that I agree with the minister on is that the government could do more, and they could do more by ending the clawback of child support right now. Right now. When families live in poverty, Madam Speaker, every dollar counts. Just ask any parent who's struggling to make ends meet. First Call's November report showed that BC has the highest level of child poverty in Canada. And it shows that the BC Liberals' child support clawbacks take back $17 million a year out of the hands of the poorest children. We also know, Madam Speaker, that the BC Liberal government spent last year $17 million as well on partisan pre-election advertising. So my question is to the minister, does he really think the money that parents set aside to help BC's poorest children is better spent on ads promoting the BC Liberal government?
Minister of Social Development.
Madam Speaker, there's many challenges when it comes to raising children. I know that, and I thank my wife, who's living in Courtenay right now, when I'm here trying to help the province of British Columbia, the citizens of British Columbia, do better. Madam Speaker, one of the most important things this government can do is grow the economy of British Columbia, because children have parents, and when parents have an opportunity to have jobs, this allows them to have a better quality of life. It is never easy, I know, to have a job and be a parent, and that's why we are working with child tax benefits to help children in early childhood. There's an opportunity with Strong Start, neighbourhoods of learning. We want to make sure that there is a foundation for children. Our school system is the best in Canada. We work so hard to make sure there's opportunities for our children. And Madam Speaker, as we go forward, the best thing we can do is make sure that these parents and their children go forward with hope. The economy is growing in British Columbia. There are opportunities for British Columbians for decades to come, and I'm proud to be a member of this government, Madam Speaker, who is making sure that our children will benefit from those opportunities.